Here at the Newton, Kansas location, this is our last customer. Let's find out what's wrong with this Mercedes. Let's get started. Now, like I just mentioned, that's not our last customer forever. It's our last customer here in Newton. We are opening a new shop in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and we're still going to be making videos for you guys, still going to be fixing cars. You really won't notice anything changed, just the location will have changed. This is a 2006 Mercedes E320 CDI. It's actually some of the last years of diesels you can buy that's not crammed full of emissions garbage. It's extremely reliable and actually has pretty good power and pretty good fuel economy. This one is special because it's acting like a Toyota. It has 250,000 miles on it and really not a lot wrong with it. This customer maintains this thing religiously. In fact, there's a few jobs we actually turned down on this because it's already been done. They maintain it so heavily. That's why it's lasted so long. Let's take a look around this really nice E320. I really like the front end of these, Mrs. Wizard.
They're very iconic, very, very nice Mercedes.
It has ovoid headlights, and this one's in really good shape. The paint shows well. It has the 5-spoke chrome wheels. This is back when chrome was still popular, and it wasn't long after that where chrome wheels went away. As we come around to the back, you can see E320 CDI, not Blue Tech. This is CDI. Everything's pretty good. It has a few little dents and dings here and there due to the age, but let's go ahead and hop under the hood. So under the hood, we have a 1989 Chevrolet Camaro IROC Z. Let's take a look.
Wizard, that is not a Chevy V8.
No, it's not, but it has all the power of a Chevy V8. This little 3.2 liter turbo diesel has the same power, in fact, a little bit more torque than your IROC does. Now this is 220, a little bit, maybe a little over 220 horsepower, 380 pound-feet of torque. So a little bit more torque, maybe a little less horsepower, but it's very close to having the power of an IROC Z. Isn't that crazy? However, it gets 30 miles per gallon on the highway. Very, very good on fuel and still has all that power. So as we take a look around the engine bay, you can see it's a little tight on the sides with the air box and some pipes and hoses and things. But you're seeing right there by the ABS module, yes, that is the infamous SBC brakes. It's basically brake-by-wire. There's no physical connection between the brake pedal and the actual brakes. Those weren't really problematic except for they have a certain amount of actuations that can be used before it alarms out and you have some serious issues and you're supposed to replace that whole system. Mercedes-Benz has extended and then extended and extended again the warranties on the SBC system. In fact, Hoovy has the Maybach that he just sold. He got both SBC systems, since it had two on that long car, replaced free of charge because Mercedes doesn't want to get sued for failed brakes. When these things fail, if it goes out, you could hit the brakes and pretty much nothing happens. There is some emergency backup there, but it's not much. It almost can be a dangerous system when it fails, but they really weren't all that problematic. We can see here when we do our oil change, our oil filter is right here, easy to get to. Here's our power steering pump. Those things are easy to get to. We see that they've recently done a fuel filter. That's brand new, so we won't be needing to do that. And as we look down here, you can see some pipe work that goes down to a charge cooler, or an intercooler. So it does have intercooled system on it. Like I mentioned while we were doing our walk around, this is not Blue Tech. You don't have to add anything to the exhaust system. There's no regeneration. There's none of that going on. This is pre all of that garbage, just before all that. And one nice thing about the injectors is it's not some huge teardown to get to them. They're right here. 6 of them lined up in a row, very easy to get to if they fail. It is not some massive undertaking to get those done. And right here where I'm touching is our glow plugs. Also pretty easy to get to. 6 of them in a row. Not a huge ordeal to get to those either. We currently have the engine cover off. It's a plastic cover that says CDI so that you guys can see all the goodness underneath under the cover. But these are as bulletproof as you can get and having a modern common rail diesel with good power, good fuel economy. You start to get in the 2008, 10, 12, especially the 12 range, you get away from simplicity and you get into massive emission systems, blue tech, all those things that can fail. These are highly desirable in the diesel world because of modern technology, but yet simple simplicity of the old world diesels. It's kind of a combination of both. Let's go ahead and take a look around in the interior.
Just like all wives love to say sometimes, dear, you're wrong. This has 245,714 miles on here. And this car is sweet. It is so nice in here. It is so, so nice. Love the gauge cluster, the dash. Everything is looking good. Look at the grill over that speaker. Nothing is broken. Nothing is lodged in there. It is clean, not even so much as a dust mote. You look around, everything's looking good. Loving the wood that just so seamlessly wraps all around. Got our nice little hidey spot right here, and he's got some gum in there. And here we have a plethora of buttons on our radio setup. Beneath all of that, we've got all of our creature comforts. We've got our heated seats, we've got control for that traction control, and I love this button. This button is so much fun. I'm not going to press it because he does not have his back headrest. They're up. He doesn't have them down. I don't want him to, have to go back in and change them. But that is so much fun when the kids were in the back seat and we had a car like this. Bam, push that, and boom, they went flying back. Don't worry, they weren't too tall. They didn't need them anyway. As we move down, nice little spot here. Looking good. Has an ashtray, but has a charge port in there. Got our gear selector. Look at the wood. It is still in very, very good shape. So we get to our covered cup holder, slides back. Got a few breath mints in there. But again, this accordion is looking really nice. Again, very good condition. And here we are at our seats. They're perforated in the center, solid on the sides, and it has a very nice kind of a cup-shaped headrest. Get to those door cards. Again, that wood is wrapping around, looking very nice. It has our standard controls for our seat with 3 different settings for memory for the passenger and 3 for the driver also. The back seat is in very good shape as well. It has a nice armrest in that center, which has more storage and cup holder. The back shelf looking good. The headliner is looking very nice. No marks, nothing going on. One thing that the customer has included is this folder, and this folder doesn't have a whole lot in it, but it has enough that documents everything that was done to this car, when and where. Everything is so nicely kept. This is why this car has 245,717 miles. Yeah, that's why this looks so good. So back at our steering wheel, everything's looking good. Controls for that phone, got controls for some of those settings up there in that little screen. So enough of this interior talk. Let's get this up in the air and see what it looks like on the underneath with that 245,000 miles.
So this vehicle, unlike some of the W211 chassis who have airmatic or air suspension, this one just has normal coil springs, so we did not have to do anything special to lift it. And like Mrs. Wizard showed you guys in the interior review, it doesn't have 250,000 miles, it's actually 245. I was kind of rounding up. But even with that many miles on a German piece of German junk, it's got to have leaks everywhere, right? No, it actually doesn't. Let's take a look. Here's our radiator core support area and a lot of our hoses and things. Dry as a bone. We did have right here, the customer mentioned there was some possible boost leak. This just had come loose. Maybe it was disconnected and wasn't fully seated at some point. We got that seated and taken care of, so now that is fully locked in. And here we have our engine oil pan underneath the engine. Not a drop. This thing has been maintained very, very well. Let's check out these wheels. Brakes are about 90%. Shocks are not blown. Nothing loose here. Sway bar link is good. Nothing leaking from the steering rack on either side. This is not an all-wheel drive model, so we don't have to worry about CV boots up here. Sway bar link is good. Strut is not blown. 90% on the brakes. Nothing's loose here right now, but the customer just had both front wheel bearings replaced, and I don't know if they weren't torqued or if it's kind of worn in or whatever. There was a little bit of looseness. Danielson got in there, was able to torque it to the proper specification. Now they're in good shape, no looseness at all. But the bearings were replaced, so we don't have to replace them, and they weren't damaged. Here's our transmission. It's not currently leaking. They were concerned about needing a transmission service, but we looked at their records. They just had a service done at 13,000 miles ago. So I'm going to show you a really common leak on these NAG transmissions. Very similar transmission as you have an 06 Charger or something like that. They use this transmission. But there's an electrical connector right behind this heat shield. It's very common to leak. Let me get the heat shield out of the way for you guys. I got the bolts out. Here's our little heat shield. Right up here is a connector. These are known to leak, and they can actually leak down here, and you think you have a pan gasket leak or something, but it's not. You just pull this little lever, and it'll actually twist and start popping itself out. Let's see if it's wet in there. Look at that fluid on there. It's wet. See how it's shiny, guys? That's transmission fluid. If you look down in the hole, it's kind of hard to see, but there is a little bit of wetness, transmission fluid down inside the socket. In the center of that socket, down inside of it, there's just one small bolt. You remove that bolt and the whole socket comes out. Here's a picture of one. And the new one comes with new seals, new O-rings. You put it back in, leak solved. Now this connector here, what can happen is not only can it leak externally and leak onto the ground, but the fluid can get into the pins and leak kind of like a candle wick and wick it up into the harness and hurt the control modules. On these older Mercedes or your Dodge Charger from 06, 05, there's something that you need to check into to make sure it's not leaking. I'll go ahead and put it back in for now. But Daniel's son is going to go ahead and definitely be replacing that socket. We're at the back of our transmission. The mount is still good, got plenty of room there. There is starting to show some age, some cracks on the flex disc. We'll let the customer know about that. Age doesn't mean guaranteed replacement, it means inspection. That means it's time to start checking to see if there's any deeper cracks or anything like that. But when you do the flex disc, to get to this one and that one, you have to remove the drive shaft, especially to do the carrier bearing, which is hard to see here, but we'll try to show it to you. All this exhaust has to come off. And on an older car, all these bolts, all these nuts, they're all going to snap, they're all going to break. And it's quite an ordeal, but you can see up in here, there's the carrier bearing right in front of that U-joint. That can go bad and cause vibrations. This is something that if there's flex disc damage or anything going on, you do the whole job or you don't do it at all. We don't piecemeal that job because it's just easier to get it all apart, get it over with, get the drive shaft down and replace all those wear components. You try to piecemeal it, and what happens is that you get it back together, and then later on the next piece fails. I'm like, well, why didn't we just do it all at once? Here's our other flex disc. You can see some light cracking going on right there. Definitely let the customer know about that. Our differential is dry, nothing going on there. CV boots are good. Brakes are about 60 to 70% remaining in the back. Sway bar link is good, nothing loose back here. Shock is not blown on either side. Sway bar link is good. Brakes are about 60%. And the CV boots are not spraying any grease out. They're not cracked. Nothing loose there. So one thing we do see is we've heard of 2-into-1 exhaust or 2-into-4, but this one is 1-into-2. It goes one down the middle and splits into two. Comes out to dual exhaust out the back. Even though it's an inline engine, it has dual exhaust from about halfway back. This thing must have been garage kept because it's rust free, it's in great condition. Let's go ahead and check the date codes on those tires. So we see the 44th week of 2024. They've got lots of tread on them, so these tires are good. Let's get this thing back on the ground. So this car is pretty much a rock star as far as reliability goes. This thing doesn't need a whole lot. It needs the front wheel bearings, which we already did, torqued up, the little boost pipe snapped back in, the electrical connector, also we're doing the belt and pulleys and tensioner, just a few things like that, and we'll let them know about the flex disc, but that's about it. With almost 250,000 miles, that's really pretty amazing. And like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this is our last customer here in Newton. I didn't say it was our last customer forever. We're going to have tons more customers down in Las Cruces because we're still going to be open. We're still going to keep on doing YouTube. I see a lot of comments, you guys are closing forever. No, we never said that. We are closing this location and opening at a new location. I love this era of Mercedes. This is about the last E-Class that I really, really like because when you get to the W212, like 2012 model or newer, they look terrible. This looks classy. When you see this going down the road, you say, that is a Mercedes-Benz, and you don't confuse it for something else like a Kia or something. However, take a look at these two pictures on either side of me. Which one's the Mercedes and which one's the Honda? Except for looking at the emblem, it's actually kind of hard to tell. The W212, like a 2012 E350, looks just like a Honda Accord to me. My mom has an '08 Honda Accord, and whenever I see one of the W212s go by, I say, hey look, a Honda Accord. It basically is. You might as well be driving one because it looks just like one. Even the front headlights look like a Honda. And like Mrs. Wizard has mentioned in several videos, the new Jags that come out look like a Honda Accord. They don't even look like a Jag anymore. What's going on? But anyways, we definitely wanted to get a video out to talk about this E320. It's one of the last diesels you can buy. Like I said, it's reliable. It doesn't have tons of gizmos and gadgets attached to it. And it can go quite a while on the miles. The engine on this car could probably go to 400,000 or 500,000 miles. The car, maybe not, but the engine can last a long, long time. And if you maintain them, just like this customer's doing, when you bring it in, you don't get bombarded with deferred maintenance where you get 12 and 15 things stacked on one another. Say, for the last 3 years, you skipped this, you skipped that, you didn't really feel like fixing that, you didn't want to spend the money on that. Now it's piling up and you have a $7,000 estimate. This customer's going to leave for under $1,000, way under $1,000. So if you watched Mrs. Wizard's interior review, she showed you guys there's a folder of maintenance receipts that this customer has. And that's really the key to why it's got so many miles, but yet it's so nice. I love these E320s. They're getting hard to find. Actually, the prices are going up on these, especially nice ones, because they are desirable. They're the end of an era, both this chassis, the 211 chassis, and also simple, reliable diesels. This is pretty much where it ends for Mercedes-Benz on simple, reliable diesels. So definitely want to show you guys some common things that can fail or leak on these and how this is the model of diesel. If you want the newest one you can buy, it's still reliable. So how many miles is too many miles? Where do you cross the line on these earlier diesels where they can go a lot longer? An E350 gas engine with 250,000 miles roughly, I probably would steer clear of that on a Mercedes-Benz. I would be like, hell no, this thing's at the end of its life. It maybe can go a little bit longer, but not a whole lot longer. The days of the W123 chassis, you know, those ones they use for taxis in England or in Europe for a long time, the 300D that can go 1,000,000 miles, those days are gone, sadly. But however, something like this with 245,000 miles on it, and it's been maintained, it has documented maintenance, I would say 350,000 miles is where I would draw the line and say, no, I don't want to go any further than that. Because like I mentioned, the engine has tons of life left in it, but the rest of the car, Mercedes-Benz in the 2000s and up to now, are not known to be 500,000 and 600,000 mile cars as far as the chassis and the interior and things. But this one's still got at least 100,000 miles or more left in it, even with the rest of the body and everything else, because it's been maintained so well. So it's kind of sad, Mrs. Wizard, that we're winding it down here, and this is literally the last customer here at Omega Newton.
It is, but it seems so fitting that it is a Mercedes. We have worked on so many Mercedes.
Yes, this is the kind of cars that got me into the business, and we will be having many more things like this coming into our Las Cruces shop. If you live in the Las Cruces area and you want your car worked on, contact Crazy D in the office and get onto the Las Cruces schedule. Tell them you need specifically to be on the Las Cruces schedule. We'll be happy to get you on the calendar and take care of your car down there. But it is what it is. This is our last customer here. If you're curious what kind of tools we're going to use to work on this E320 CDI or any other car in the shop, which isn't very much at the moment, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. A lot of the tools we use every day, tried and true, are listed for sale there. And if you purchase any of them, we get a small cut and really appreciate it. And before you go, like I said, we're not closing the shop or the channel for good. We're just moving it to Las Cruces, New Mexico, and continuing on with more videos and more repairs. Make sure to hit the subscribe button on your way out and the notification bell. Thanks for watching.